Good afternoon and welcome back to segment 2 of Cooking with Dave, where we are preparing chicken noodle soup today. The chicken has cooked already. I have deboned it and I have diced it up, and now that is ready to go, and I've got that right here in this bowl, and we will be adding that to the stock a little bit later. The stock is in the refrigerator cooling off, and I'm going to begin preparing the vegetables for the soup now, and I will be doing that in my Dutch oven. And so I'm just going to keep kneeling down here for a little bit, and let's get started. I'm going to turn my burner on to about between 6 and 7, and I am going to put in 1 tablespoon of butter into my pan. Let that start to melt, and then extra virgin olive oil. I will be adding that also to my pan, and just by eyeball about 1 tablespoon. So we're going to let both of those start to melt in there, heat up in there, and then introduce our vegetables to that and let them saute a while before adding the broth. So once again, let me get up here if I can. All right, I got up, and I'm going to grab another knife from my favorite knives to use for cooking. That looks like a pretty good one right there. So we're going to start off first with the carrots. And I am going to just cut off the end of that carrot. And I'm going to cut these about 1/4 inch. I don't like them too thick in the soup. So about 1/4 inch is a good start for that. Growing up, I did not like soup at all. I did not like it when my mom prepared it for us for a meal. But as I have grown older now and wiser, I have found that soup is really good for you. And I enjoy chicken noodle soup, stuff I make myself. I love clam chowder. I haven't tried making that yet myself, but one of these days I will get brave enough to cook up some clam chowder. So, cooking these up, preparing them to go into the pot. My wife is shopping right now, and she very well might come home as I am doing this segment of cooking. So, when she comes home, you just might hear my dog start to bark. Okay, so there we go. The butter is melting in there. That's the first carrot, and I have 1 more carrot to do. So let me just cut up this carrot here now. I really love this knife set. There's so many different knives with it that I can use. So once again, thank you, Mickey and Lynn, for the gift of knives. I think you knew I would enjoy them and cook well with them. So, I'm almost done with this carrot. I thought about using my food processor to slice these up, but wasn't sure how that would work. So, yeah, I can hear my dog starting to bark. I'm not sure what she's barking at. Okay, now for the celery. I'm going to cut off that end of the celery there. Cut off this end. There's a bad spot there, so let me get rid of that. And I do these also about 1/2 inch. Much easier to slice celery than it is carrots. They aren't as dense. Oh, let me cut that one in half. Alright, so here we go. And we're almost done with this celery. Hey Tags, how you doing there? You're shaking around a little bit. Yeah, we got our dog after we moved here to Bowling Green. She's a rescue dog from the animal shelter. Let me grab something to kind of stir this around with a little bit. This is a 1-handled pot. I'm not sure what happened to the other handle, but it's no longer with us. So, we're just going to let those go there for a while longer. Continue slicing and dicing up this other celery stalk. I don't know how to turn my fingers under like chefs do, so I just hope for the best that I don't cut myself when I do this. That's a joke. Oh. When I was teaching, I remember a couple of times I would take my students into the church kitchen, and there we would prepare a lunch of hamburgers and baked beans, French fries, and whatever else. And that was just really enjoyable to do with the students. So, those were good memories, cooking with students at school. Sometimes, those of you who are Lutheran and know ladies' aid groups, sometimes the ladies weren't too happy when they found out that I brought students into the kitchen and used their pots and pans to do some cooking. But we always cleaned up, and the ladies would always agree that we left it cleaner than it was when we went there. So, I guess they really didn't mind too much that we were in it. Okay, so let me add this last bit of celery now to this, and stir it around once again as they continue to saute in here. Now, I said green pepper in the first video. I don't know why, I must be colorblind or something. It is red pepper. I've washed it off already, but there's still a label on there. So, I don't think I'm going to use all of this. I'm going to use about that much of it. So let me first slice it lengthwise. There we go. Put it together, and now I'm going to dice this up. I just love red pepper. Not a whole lot. I think the flavor of red pepper goes a long way. So now put all that there. Give it another stir. Now in my first video I said I was going to cook the chicken for about 20 minutes. Well, I ended up cooking it for about an hour. I did one of those air-headed things, and when I turned the burner on for simmering it, instead of putting the rear burner on, I put on the front burner. And so when I came back 15 minutes later to check on it, I noticed that the front burner was a little bit warm, and I noticed that my soup was no longer simmering like I was expecting it to be. So I got that burner going then finally, and let me get this onion peel off here. There we go. Okay. Now I'm just going to use this much of the onion. I'm debating how to slice it up here. As you can see, I'm not sure. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to go, I'm going to turn this back a little bit. Seems to be cooking pretty hard there. Smelling good. Oh, you should have smelt it earlier when the chicken and the vegetables were going. Oh, it was such a delicious smell in here. I wish that the soup would have been ready then, but all good things take their time to make, especially when you're cooking from scratch, which is the best way to cook, and which my wife and I do almost all the time. We have very little prepared foods that we bring into the house. One of our favorites, though, is who is it, Mrs. Whatever's chicken pot pies, turkey pot pies. We'll do those once in a while. But that's about it for bringing in prepared food that we just warm up. We cook our own spaghetti sauce, own pizza sauce. I already have a video on my YouTube with making up some pizza sauce. I should do a video sometime soon of making up my pizza dough in my bread machine. It makes the best pizza dough. I use that for pizza dough. My wife loves the pumpkin bread that I make using it. She's got about a half a loaf left of that. I've got 2 bread machines, so when I do a recipe, I double it up, make 2 of them, 1 in each bread machine. I thought one of my bread machines was dying, so I bought another one. Well, that first one is still living with us, so. Okay, there's all the vegetables once again. With the vegetables, I did, let me clean up here while I'm talking to you. I did, 2 carrots, 3 stalks of celery, about a quarter of a large onion, and a little bit of red pepper. Not green pepper, red pepper, mind you. So, there we go. Got that cleaned up a little bit there. Going to put my red pepper in here. And I'm just going to move the onion over here and put that away later. I always double seal my onions before putting them in the refrigerator so that the flavors in the refrigerator don't get affected by the onion. Okay, there we go. Now, to this, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. There we go. A little bit of pepper. There we go. Okay, give that a whirl. Oh, you would not believe the smell of all of this cooking together. It is wonderful. Okay, I'm going to turn my burner down a little bit more again. I'd rather cook on a gas stove, but here in Bowling Green it seems like everyone has electric stoves, at least all the houses we looked in. Gas heaters are also electric. I think the only thing that gas is used for is heating. I think it's because natural gas is much more expensive than in other parts of the country. Okay, I'm going to put in a little bit of thyme and a little bit of oregano, a little more garlic powder, and I think that's about it. Alright, so here we go. Thyme. If you remember before in the first video, I just measure out by eyeball, so I'm going to put in about that much thyme. And I always kind of scrunch it between my fingers because someplace I read that helps to release the flavors better. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've been doing it. Okay, now with the oregano, about that much oregano will go in here. Okay. Now, with the garlic powder, like I said earlier, I want to measure that. So let me get out a measuring spoon here. That's a teaspoon. Here's a quarter teaspoon. Because a quarter teaspoon of this is about equal to 1 clove of garlic. So I'm going to put in a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder. So that means 2 cloves of garlic, because I put 1/4 teaspoon in with the broth. Okay, so this is cooking up nicely here now. All getting sauteed. Let me just pick up my camera and show you what it looks like. So there we go. There's how it looks as it's cooking up. Would not believe the smell of that. Oh, it is just awesome. Awesome goodness. Let's say that. Awesome goodness. Alright, now let me see here. So they're still a little bit on the crunchy side, but I know they will soften up also in the soup. Okay, but we're going to let these go a little bit longer here. I got the heat about 2 right now. I'm going to kick it up to about 4. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to get a couple of okay, I got a couple of Ziploc bags here, and I want to put my onion in the Ziploc bag. So there we go, and we'll put this one in there too. And I seal it up most of the way, squeeze out as much air as I can, and then finish sealing it up. Now I want to double bag it to keep the onion aromas in the bag and not contaminating my other food. So I'm going to put that there, seal it up most of the way once again, squeeze out as much air as I can from that one, and there we go. There's my onion, there's my green pepper, and they are now going back into the refrigerator. Okay. Oh, last night for supper, I made an awesome pot of spaghetti. It was just delicious. I added some red pepper to that also, but not enough. It didn't really come through, and I had it cut up kind of small. I'm expecting kind of the same thing with this, that there will be a hint of it, but not much more than that. Okay, so there we go. Okay, my vegetables are getting softened now. Yep, I'm able to kind of go through a carrot. Yep, kind of. Not completely, but kind of. So we're going to keep this going a little bit longer now. Just keep sauteing them. Onions look great in here. The celery looks good in here. The pepper is really coming along fine. So, there we go. Alright. Now, I've got my chicken here. That was about 2 pounds of chicken with skin on, bone in. I'm not sure how much chicken is there now. And I'm going to pull out my broth from the refrigerator now. It's still kind of warm. There we go. There's my broth, and there's about 6 cups of broth there. So, let me just give you a gander at that once again. Here's the vegetables all sauteing nicely, and there is my turkey broth. Remember, I made that from our Thanksgiving turkey after I cut off all the meat after we had dinner. Then I put it into this Dutch oven and another Dutch oven I have, and boiled that for about an hour or so. Took out the carcass, and oh, I had vegetables in there too. That's right, I had carrots, onion, celery, all in there to cook with that there. So I took out the vegetables and double strained the broth. This time I triple strained this broth just to make sure that it had all of the larger stuff out, and it's just mostly juice right now. Okay, so that's really looking good now. Oh, smell of it. Okay, now I'm going to add my chicken to this. Okay. And I'm just going to stir in the vegetables and the chicken. Oh. This is really looking good. Now, I'm going to pour in my broth very carefully. I said earlier, my wife is off shopping. I'm going to turn that up to high now so that we get it to a boil. My wife is shopping. She's getting the noodles for this because we ran out of noodles. But I like to add the noodles just before we eat it and let the noodles cook according to the package direction. So, there you have it. Chicken noodle soup by Dave. Don't know what else to add to this video right now, so I'm just going to, let me show you what it looks like in the pot. Here we go. There it is. Let me grab my stirring thing here, and we'll just stir it up. You see all the vegetables in there. You see the chicken in there, and we're just going to let that come to a boil and then let it simmer for a while. It's 1:15 now, so I don't know how long I'm going to let that simmer, but we'll see, and then it'll be our supper tonight. So, this is Cooking with Dave, and good appetite. Until next time. Oh, by the way, I did change the title on my YouTube channel to Cooking with Dave, the Lutheran Cook. So, with that, we will say adios, goodbye, and once again, good appetite.